Hey guys, Glenn Hall here. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to tell you a quick story today about the man that accidentally killed American pensions. Imagine creating something worth trillions of dollars and almost nobody knows your name. No, seriously, the guy who changed retirement forever didn't own a bank, didn't start an investment company, didn't invent the stock market. His name was Ted Bennett, and he had a problem. You see, Ted wasn't trying to become famous. He wasn't sitting around saying, I'm about to change America forever. Nope, he was just a benefits consultant, basically helping companies figure out employee retirement plans. One day, his client walks in and he says, Ted, we need a better way to pay executives. And Ted says, what do you mean? And the client says, they're making too much money. Ted blinks and says, that's a problem? And the client shakes his head, no, it's not the problem. Taxes are eating it all up. So, see, back then, if you got a bonus, the government wanted their cut immediately. The executives hated it, the companies hated it, everybody hated it. So Ted started flipping through the tax laws, page after page, looking for any loophole. Then he sees one tiny sentence inside the tax code, section 401k. Most people looked at that law and skipped right over it. Ted didn't. He leans back, reads it again, and one more time, and he says, hold on. The law basically says employees could choose to delay taking part of their paycheck. Meaning, instead of getting taxed today, you could invest the money first and pay taxes later. Ted looked around the room. Hey, they know this is here. His coworker from across the room laughs and says, Ted, what are you talking about? And so Ted points to the page and says, I think we can build an entire retirement plan around this. The coworker says, are you serious? And Ted says, I think everybody missed this. Everything flipped right there. Ted realized this wasn't just for executives. This could work for everybody. Factory workers, teachers, engineers, office employees, anybody with a paycheck. So he runs to his client and he says, I figured it out. And the boss says, figured what out? The Ted throws the papers on the desk and he says, we let employees save money before taxes. And the boss says, that'll never work. And Ted says, why not? And the boss shrugs and says, nobody's going to give up part of their paycheck. And Ted says, they'll do it if we tell them they're getting free money. Here's where it gets wicked. So Ted thought he invented another retirement tool. Corporate America looked at it and saw something totally different. So CEO walks in the meeting and says, so you're telling me we don't have to promise workers a pension anymore? The accountant smiles. We pay less in taxes. The employee pays less in taxes. Everybody wins. Another executive chimes in and says, so instead of us guaranteeing retirement, they invest their own money. The room gets quiet. Then everybody starts smiling. See, before this, a lot of Americans had pensions. Work 30, 40 years, retire, and your company kept sending you a paycheck for the rest of your life. As long as you could get to the mailbox, you got the money. Company took the investment risk, not you. Then the 401k showed up, and companies across America started saying, why are we paying for pensions when we can offer this instead? One by one, pensions disappeared. Workers thought, I'm getting a retirement plan. Companies were thinking, we're getting out of the retirement business. You see, there's a huge difference. The responsibility moved from corporations to regular people. Now imagine you're 64 years old. You plan to retire next year, then the stock market drops 30%. Your pension would have still paid. Your 401k just lost years of savings. Now you have to decide, do I retire or do I work for another 5 years? Millions of Americans suddenly became responsible for something they were never taught. How much do I save? Which mutual fund? Stocks, bonds, how much risk, when do I retire? If you guess wrong, you pay the price. Not your employer, you. And here's the crazy part. Even Ted Benna later admitted this was not what he had envisioned. He said the 401k was supposed to supplement pensions, not replace them. Many employers froze or eliminated traditional pension plans and relied solely on 401ks to provide retirement benefits. Now, don't get me wrong, a 401k can absolutely build wealth, especially if you start young, invest consistently, and take advantage of an employer match. But here's the lesson. The greatest financial innovation of the last 50 years also shifted trillions of dollars of retirement risk from corporations to everyday workers. And most people never realized the trade they were making because they thought they were gaining a benefit when in many cases they were also losing a guarantee, which is exactly why relying on one retirement strategy is risky, because none of us knows what the market is going to do, what taxes are going to look like, how long we live. The people who retire with the most confidence usually don't have just one bucket. They build multiple buckets. Some money that's invested for growth, some money that's protected from market swings, some income they can count on no matter what happens. Ted Benna changed the retirement game forever. But maybe the biggest lesson isn't that the 401k is good or that it's bad. It's that your retirement is too important to leave to one strategy. Because if your entire future depends on one account, you're taking one risk too many. The goal isn't to replace your 401k. The goal is to make sure it isn't the only thing standing between you and the retirement you've worked your whole life for.